ready. Too cool for school, and I suffer no fools, play by my own damn rules. I'm feeling brave, like a maid in the shade. Ah, hell, she know I'm afraid, yeah. Fear is real, take it back to the garden. Beans all here, turn evil, get inside. Oh, please, God, won't you give me another party? A love for life, or just roll the dice, roll the dice. No cards left on the table, but there's a sky up above, willing and able, but my luck's been a draw. No faith in fables, but where push it comes to shove, I place my bet on love. Yeah, Jimmy.
Brother. Yeah.
All right on, right on.
Yeah, that's just like we wrote it.
Just like we wrote it.
See?
I think we need the rest of the band and the crew on this.
Oh my God, what a time we had doing that. That was
Hell
great.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Hey everybody, this is Jimi Bell, and we are here for another episode of Beyond the Strings right here at RHCTV Studios in Rocky Hill, and it has been officially changed to Jimi Bell Studios. I own that camera. I haven't bought that one yet, but I am purchasing. The more that Mandy works, the more I'll be able to afford the cameras. So that's
There you go. I like Jimi Bell Studios.
I think Jimi Bell Studios.
I think it's a
sounds
great
good.
name.
Yeah,
Perfect.
how about we? I could see the sign out there. I mean, flashing.
Just like you're just rolling through the 06, 06,
Like the
07,
Elvis-
and
like the Elvis
and
sign.
it's like
We got to do it like the Elvis sign, though. Like
Yeah,
in,
just-
in
yeah.
Vegas.
there you go. That's perfect.
So anyways, today's my very, very long time friend, a very special guest, Mr. Joe Delaney, otherwise known as Joetown. And my God, this guy is just a monster. He is a great guitarist, a fabulous singer. He has also done so many things with his life, including repping music industry products. He's a recording engineer, a producer. The guy has literally done it all. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, man. Well, I just realized you're way better than me, so you're out. Pack your stuff and go. No, I'm only kidding. No, stay. They want the
No.
microphone back. Anyway.
I can hit a few more high notes, but I don't get near this thing.
Well, listen, let's talk about kind of back in the time when we first met.
Yeah.
So I came around in like back in this area. In other words, I grew up here, but then I was in a band up in Canada, up in Montreal, and then I came back around 1981 or something like that. And with your first version of Join Forces, we were a cover band and stuff. I think I met you throughout that period.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I went to an all-ages Join Forces show. I was definitely in high school.
In Southington?
No, this was, I think it was in East Haven. And, and I remember going to that. I was probably maybe 14, 15 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was, and somebody had told me, you got to go see this guitar player. So I went and I was like, oh man, that guy just kills. So, it's like I had been taking some guitar lessons from some people, but I was like, I heard from some people that I met, other people we know. I think I actually maybe met Dan Formica and some other guys like right around that time at shows like that, because we weren't of age, so we were just going.
Oh, I remember when Danny I'm hoping Danny comes home. I got to get him on the show. When
Absolutely, you have to get him. Yeah.
But Matt Franklin, who's Matt Starr now.
Matt Franklin,
Matt Franklin and Danny. All you guys used to just stand in front of me.
Mike Duda.
At the Agora. Mike Duda. All at the Agora Ballroom. I mean, it was, the place was packed. It was just a great time.
You guys were the gold standard rock band in area region. I mean, there was, obviously you could go to a concert, you go to New Haven Coliseum and see a band, but you guys were the it around here. I mean, you guys and it was you guys and Run 21. Well, those were the two bands. When I was in high school.
Jay Johnson was in there too, or Joey Caron. Yeah.
At that time, it was there's these two bands that were killer rock bands, and I remember we would just be happy when there was when you guys were playing a show at an all ages place we could get in. I'd sneak in where we could, but
we took a big chance by going out, because when we decided to go out doing all original music, there wasn't bands that were doing strictly, in the area that were doing strictly original music. They were doing covers.
3 sets covers, right?
A lot of covers, but a lot of originals, but mostly covers. And we just went out and did that hour-and-a-half show. So, but I was really happy the way it turned out, and I think it was just because of how I trained myself on the guitar, what I was into, the Al Di Meola stuff, between Johnny Winter, Richie Blackmore, and Al Di Meola, I was kind of I had come up with that style, and I was playing that kind of before, a lot of people were shredding,
right.
So I think that's what, a lot of the, people like you and Danny and everybody wanted to see if they could learn. The problem is that I'm a terrible teacher, because I'm self-taught, and for me to explain what
you were a good teacher.
I didn't.
I you know what? You got to admit though, I was probably one of your worst students. Right?
No, you weren't.
Because I you tried to get me to do everything right, but I was just my head has always been in a outside of the diligence side of things, more of the Keith Richards cool element of the whole thing, where I'm I learned some key things, but I gave up on getting to the level of proficiency where you went. Well, because I never got to the point of even dropping my thumb to the back so I could do it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? The older I get, it's
now you're hanging your hand over.
Oh my God, I do it all the time. I go.
Exactly.
I love catching the notes.
I don't think I've ever played. I rarely play a note with this finger on the 6th string.
It's always. It's great to grab it or come around and do that.
But you can't. If you leave it hanging there, you have to shift to go to the full burn, right?
Oh, well, yeah. Look at when I have my hand around the top. It's all. You could do. But if you start doing your scale work, and it's like I said, it's the stretching part. You can't have your thumb and then up here and then try to stretch out going. You have to go.
Right. Which is what has landed me in the first position pentatonic for the majority of my life.
Yeah, but what you do with your stuff is great.
You can do a lot with it. But.
No, it's just. Look, I'm going to talk. Yeah,
anyway,
we'll talk about that.
You know what? Yeah, you'll have to have a side lesson after.
Yeah, no, I'm done teaching you. You're going that far, man. You're gone. So you went off and tell me. I really want to know about Joetown, how you created that, because honestly, I got to tell you, to this day, one of my favorite songs is "Go," and when I heard that, a lot of times people ask me how to when I did the song with you, when we did our couple songs together, Mandy was saying, "Well, what does he sound like?" And I kind of an example. And I said, well, he doesn't sound like it. He's got his own thing, but he's got the insanity of Ted Nugent. If you remember what Ted Nugent was like in his early days, Wang Dang, Sweet Poontang.
Huge influence on me.
Oh, he was.
Huge influence on me. Like, I had it's weird because I got my guitar influences, it's the same guys as you. I mean, a lot of the same guys. Like, I'm a huge Blackmore head, a huge Eddie Van Halen, love Jeff Beck. You're an influence on me because you were key to me at a very specific point in my life. It's like,
oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? It's like we were talking about it before the cameras rolled. Like, a lot of what I do in that pentatonic box I'm in most of the time, you're the one who taught me how to blow that up and kind of modally bring all kinds of million things into it.
You just keep bringing, you keep shifting it no matter what. It's like that's the beauty of that pentatonic thing. You get you go one thing. You be like in your minor. Let me get this.
Yeah, no problem.
This part off. So if you're in your minor, you mix in your major. So a lot of times people will just kind of stay there, but then I always leave the
right.
If it goes to the 4 chord, I'll go.
Like, you always find the way to bring the 7s in and everything.
Yeah, and then. I mean, it's just so much. It opens up your playing by. Unless the song is hardcore minor, then you can't throw.
Then you just
you're going to have to
lock in.
You've got to lock in on that stuff. So how did you create Joetown? Now, was Joetown your idea for the name of your studio, or was it the band, or what you created as your personality?
So, I had, it evolves into that. Basically, I was here. I graduated from high school. I was playing in a band around here that wasn't doing anything, and some guys and friends from here were like, "We're moving to LA. You want to come?" And I just bailed right after high school and split.
Oh.
I had gone to a NAMM show. I worked at stores here when I was young. I worked at a place called Joe's Music.
Joe's Music?
Yeah, Joe Macaluso in Wallingford. I worked there. I worked with my buddy Mark Libro at Goldie and Libro.
Goldie and Libro.
So with those two things, I had gone to a couple of NAMM shows while I was kind of still in high school.
Yeah.
So, and then the second time I went into Hollywood one of the nights, and I'm like, this place is going off on a level every night was the craziest rock and roll night you could ever imagine here.
It was
on 24/7, and I had the opportunity, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it.
So did you do any playing out there? Did you?
Yeah. So I went out there.
Is this prior to Slash, or is this?
Yeah, this is way prior to that. So I was 18, 19.
Oh, okay.
I borrowed a buddy of mine's passport and American Express card, went and got a license so I could be 21 and actually play in the bars. Because you couldn't play unless you were 21. They wouldn't let you play either. So I got that done, and then I ended up in a band. And I got to the point where I was headlining Roxy, Whiskey, and Gazzarri's with a band called St. Thomas. We got a record deal with TNT Records with Capitol. And we put out a record, and that all happened over a 4-year period. I had a life. A lot of my closest friends still there. I had this Hollywood life really young, right out of high school, that really kind of forged the rock and roll thing for me in a big way. And then I got, I ended up making a decision. The band did some stuff. We did a couple of little tours and stuff like that, but nothing was happening. And I kind of made a decision that I'm not a guy that can join bands or get hired to be in a band. I figured out
as an artist, it renders me largely unhireable.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I kind of do my thing, and
You're a
that's,
creator. You want to.
yeah, I can only do my thing. It's like I just do my thing, and that really works well. But like I can't, I have no chameleon aspect whatsoever. Which because my friends were pushing me after, like before I moved back here. They were like, "Dude, you can get in a band." It's like I went and got in some things, and I just couldn't do it. Like it wasn't for me. I've had it happen a few times. Like you brought up the Slash thing. Like I was in the Bullet Boys for 5 minutes.
You were.
Yeah. I was out there and I was hanging with those guys. Jason Hook was leaving, and they had seen my other band, the American Trash. So they just asked me to join without ever jamming with them and everything. I went on one run with. I don't want to slam them, but
I know.
It's a little bit of a. It was like I can do that.
You've done shows with them.
I can do that. I can like that's a good example of why I wouldn't do it. I can do stuff almost at that level on my own.
Right.
So why do it, right? Like
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So there's that. I was going to join a band called Life, Sex, and Death, LSD, that was in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes. Alex Kane was the guitar player, and he had left. Stanley, the crazy guy, was.
So they wanted you for your guitar playing?
Yeah. I hadn't even sang. I would just sang backgrounds. I hadn't launched.
That's
I haven't.
amazing.
So I had like a little guitar thing for a while. And the other one that happened way later was Slash. We were with the Joetown band. We were supposed to open up for him at Toad's place, and he canceled. And he told the agent or whoever, like, yeah, he's canceling because he's focusing on his record and he's got to find a singer. And they dropped my name. And you should check out the guy that was going to open up for you. And he listened to it, and then I went out there or hung out with him. Talked about it and everything, but it wasn't a fit because
Is this when he was still partying and stuff, or?
Yeah, I think he was still partying. It was the Snake Pit days.
Oh, okay.
But hey, he's a great guy, an amazing guitar player.
I love Slash. A lot of people don't. A lot of people like. I don't understand.
How can you not like? You got to understand what he is. He's an amazing guitar player. If you're a huge Guns N' Roses fan, the thing to know is like. The reason why you like those songs is like Izzy Stradlin, because he was the primary songwriter. But like for guitar playing, Slash is like, I mean, Slash single-handedly saved rock and roll guitar for at least a couple of decades.
Well, listen, man, the guy, regardless of, when Guns N' Roses was really going and they were, all messed up and stuff like that, a lot
and
a
awesome.
lot of problem. Slash had amazing melodies. Like, I mean, what he created for Sweet Child of Mine, that that whole intro and everything is just amazing. But
that and the melody stuff on Use Your Illusion, you get into just some epic solos.
Yeah,
I mean, they're huge parts.
Yeah, they're like orchestrated pieces that you could
amazing.
do. But even like if you talk about ripping at the end when he did, Paradise City, his ripping stuff that he does at the end of that song is
he's burning.
Yeah, he's going.
He's going.
And what's even the funniest thing in the world is when Guns N' Roses hit it. I mean, all these people when the '80s came, when Van Halen, when Eddie came out, and they all were getting into the Floyd Rose. Everybody was selling their Les Pauls for like $200, $300 just to get a Kramer with a Floyd Rose. Right. And then later, after Slash came out, everybody's trying to buy Les Pauls, and they're like all.
Then you hear Appetite for Destruction, and then you want a flame top Les Paul.
Yeah.
But it speaks to like what you were asking about, like kind of my story, the Slash thing. Like in talking to him, like he was like, hey, your guitar player's like, he's killer. I'm like, no, that's me.
Oh.
He was like, oh, and like. Okay, it's like, okay, you wanted just like a singer dude.
You wanted a singer
dude. And I explained to him, I go, dude, like, I'm going to be like a Nugent thing, or I'm going to be like, another guy that I love is Ricky Medlock, Blackfoot. Oh. Like the Blackfoot days of Rick Medlock, like that type of frontman, like a guitar player, maybe not playing guitar all the time, maybe not doing all the stuff, but like front man with a guitar, you know?
Yeah, I love Ricky.
Yeah.
It was so funny seeing him. I actually got to see him in Texas with the original Blackfoot in a club down in Pasadena, Texas, and I'll never forget. It was just absolutely incredible. It was like, wow, you know, this guy was just tearing it up. And then we opened for him a bunch of times at the Agora when Ken Hensley from Uriah Heep had joined the band. And but yeah, I thought Ricky Medlock was the bomb.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I would, like, when I was younger, I would stay up like late night MTV just to see that Train live video that would come on, because I'm like, wow, that's like guy with a guitar just killing it like that, like totally high energy show. That's the stuff.
Listen, I forgot to do something. We have to do a quick break and do a segment of Inside the Gig Bag. Nice. We'll be right back to you. Everybody, welcome to another segment of Inside the Gig Bag, and that effect you hear is called a Univibe. Extremely cool pedal. First time I think I ever heard the pedal being used was on the Band of Gypsies album with Jimi Hendrix live at the Fillmore with Buddy Miles on the drums and Billy Cox on bass. But obviously it was probably used before then. But a lot of people have used it since, especially legendary guitar player Robin Trower. It's just got this very cool effect, as you could hear. A lot of times you could add a pedal to it as well, so you could make the speed go a lot faster, a lot slower. You know what? I could probably, did I even think about that? I might even have that on here, but and even, let me just see. Maybe not. Oh, well, it's just something I wanted to try. I thought, oh, modulation rate. Yeah, so you can adjust the rate to it by a pedal as well. But I just love the sound of this thing. Now, obviously clean, it sounds amazing, but wait to hear it with some dirt on it. It's great. When you bend up notes with that thing and you hear the effect going, man, it sounds great. Very cool, huh? Anyways, thanks for watching this segment of Inside the Gig Bag. Joe, welcome back.
Yeah.
Listen, we're talking about great guitarists and stuff like that. I wasn't even into Keith Richards until way later in my life, you know, and like he's like one of my favorite guitar players of all time. I just love, you know, everything to do with rhythm and everything. Tell me, like when you put Joetown together, it was basically always a trio, right?
No.
No.
It started off.
Shame on me.
You know what? I started it off. I got back here and it's like, okay, I'm going to start my own band and I'm going to be the front man. It was the first time.
That's what I wanted to ask
First
you.
time.
Were
So
you...
94, 95 is when I got that kind of all together. And I had Danny Formica playing with me in the very beginning. And then it just got too busy. I think he was just so busy. He had so many gigs, I think. I started doing some of the things as a trio and then we just did it as a trio. I like the trio, but I like another guitar. After years of doing it, I like having another guitar player. Not because I can't do it as a trio, it just really frees up a lot of energy to 100% be the front man.
It frees you.
Yeah, it's like I can skip verses. I can make the guitar parts come in as a big dynamic and not having just relying to have it always going. So it's like I like.
I have these conversations with Mark Slaughter a lot because I'm good friends with him, and we sit around and talk, and he's a monster guitar player, like a really great guitarist, but he said, it's so weird, Jimmy. He says, I put on the guitar for a few songs. He says, but people want to see me as a front man. They don't want to see me playing guitar. Right. They dig the front man, the separate thing.
Right.
But you doing what you do when you could, literally, if you have another guitar player and being the vocalist that you are, you could throw put the guitar behind your back, sing a couple verses, grab it, and then, when he takes a solo, you fill it in.
As long as you got a big enough band behind you, you can do anything. I mean, I love Prince, what he did with the guitar. He'd have a dance segment. He'd be on there, up there on his own, just singing, and then he'd just strap on a guitar and just destroy, and then take a verse off, and then come back and kill you with guitar.
Yeah.
Just I love that type of stuff.
I don't know if you remember, but there was some competition at the Webster Theater, and I was a judge.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah,
I forget which defunct radio station had it that year, but
it was. I think it was.
Was it 104? Maybe it was 104.
I might have been CCC or something like that, but I was a judge with one of the people from the manager from Guitar Center. It was a woman that was a manager, and they had somebody else, but they asked me to be a judge.
The Flames won.
It was Gargantua Soul.
Yeah.
And Matt Franklin's band.
Yeah. It was us, Gargantua Soul, the Flames, and I think somebody else.
Yeah.
So I went into it like, okay, I got a 75% chance of winning because like the Flames were recording at Joetown, and I was helping Matt produce that. I was producing Gargantua Soul at the time, and I was in there, so I was like, my chances are high. I just wanted one of my bands to do it.
I loved your band. As a matter of fact, I voted you guys very high because what you guys do and go. It wasn't because I knew you, because I knew Matt Franklin. And
well, you probably never had seen the band,
Yeah, no, I hadn't, and I loved the whole trio thing. And I thought Gargantua Soul was incredible. I didn't even know Opus back then.
Right.
So, but I remember What was the singer's name? I forgot it.
Chris Keys.
Oh yeah, that's
Chris
right.
Keys, my buddy Chris Keys.
Yeah, they carried him at the end of their set. They brought him out on a platform. People were carrying him while he stood up, and he came right to the judges' table and was pointing like it was like freaky, you know.
Chris is an amazing artist. Chris is an amazing artist, amazing recording artist, and amazing performance artist.
Yeah.
Like he's the real deal. I got tons of respect for Chris. I did a record with Chris that never kind of went anywhere because we went different directions. We did this project after G-Soul called Kings of Reality Core, and we did a whole record. It was a good record.
Really?
Just kind of got lost in the shuffle of stuff.
How many Joetown records have you put out?
So the band kind of morphed into being called Joetown because I had the studio, and then so many people would call me by Joetown. Eventually, it's just like, oh, I gotta call everything that.
Yeah.
So I just went with it. The first record was The Wheel, and then the second.
Is that the one with Go?
That is not with Go. And then the second one was Free, and then I did a mixed record of some covers and more originals. Then I did Rock and Roll Man, which has Go on it. That has People Who Rock and Go.
Yeah, I love it. We Are the People. Oh, I love that song
That's
too.
the most like straight ahead, punch you in the face rock record I've done probably.
There's just something about Go. I mean, first off, when I first heard it, it's, I'm a huge fan of Highway Star from Deep Purple. So right away, I recognized it was in G, and it's going, like that.
It's just pumping on it.
It's just pumping, and then you're doing that, like, this scatting or this really fast. That's how I related you to. I made the comparison to Ted Nugent because it was kind of like that. Same type of thing that when in one of those songs. You were killing it, man.
Ted Nugent, like he'd like do that scat type of thing, and a lot of the like heavy type of blues rock bands. There's some people who would do that, and honestly, the rap element of things had an influence on me. Just like taking the meter of the vocals and like saying, okay, well, I'm not as worried about a melody here. I just want to put forth a rhythmic thing about it. And like, whether I'm like screaming it or singing it or whatever, that's the deal. I mean, whether it's the Beastie Boys or Rage, or that stuff had a big influence on me.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm old school. I'm way older than you. How old are you?
I'm 56.
Are you? Oh yeah, I'm 10 years old. 11. Joe,
You don't look it.
Joe, yeah, my hair is that color. Trust me. I've been thinking about letting it go like that. But hey, at least you got the Leon Russell thing going on, which is great.
The point is like we're lifers. That's the point. Like we got in this, and it's what we do, and we keep doing it, and it's that type of perseverance that makes us who we are.
What makes what keeps you driven? I mean, I know I've always been, to me, I think I'm tweaked. And for some reason, there's one of these things that, yeah, I do.
I'm listening. I want to hear what you say next.
No, I mean, there's something in me that, no matter, I've always had this thing. I mean, let's look at all the things, the Joan Jett, the Ozzy, the Geezer, the this and that. Everything that has kind of went through. And these doors open and shut, open and shut, open and shut.
Oh, the opportunity business stuff and everything. Yeah, I mean you've knocked on you've been at the door, knocking at the door, right on the edge. Like
it's like all this stuff, and I just think that so many times, a lot of people would just say, "Oh, the heck with this, I'm done," But there's just something in me that's, even at my age, I still. Practicing guitar all the time, trying to, come up with new stuff. It's like, I don't get it.
Why do you keep doing it? It's the love of the craft.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, that's why you do it. I didn't do this. I didn't do what I do with rock and roll and music to it would be nice to just be rich and famous and huge and have walked through those doors and get to that other level. But that's not why I got into it. I didn't get into it for that. That's like a bonus prize if it works for you. I just wanted to have a life of it, and I've had a life of it. So I'm grateful. That's how I got to look at it. And you know what? I'm grateful that I'm here, and I'm grateful that I can make another record. And after that, if I'm around, I can make another record after that. And it's the love of the craft, and it's like I take the artist thing super serious.
Yeah.
Like it's really what it is. Like people say, "Oh, you're a musician." Like I'm not even a musician. Like I'm not even a musician. I do my thing and I make art and I put it out into the world and I'll go out and I'll perform it. But like the musician part, it's like it's just a label on top of that. I don't even let that.
Well,
get
you're still
into it.
putting out great songs like Train. I thought was
The Freight Train thing. You put the solo on that.
Yeah, I thought that's a great song. I mean,
I had fun with that.
And yeah, just and recently you released something recently that I really love too.
Just released a new tune called "I Got Survive."
Yeah.
And and that's the point. Just like I don't have time to release a song every month, but I get as many tunes as I can logically get done in my life, and I just keep putting stuff out. I won't put things out unless they're at the level, though. Like,
right.
I've made records in real studios. I had my own studio, commercial studio for a while. Like, as far as what it is, like, I'm not going to put anything out unless it's at the level competitive with real stuff out there on the radio.
Your
and
stuff is
everything else.
great. I think it is.
But,
I mean,
which takes time. But like the point is, like I just keep doing it and keep releasing things, and I never stop. Like I wish I had enough time to record and release to keep up with how much stuff I write. That's the most frustrating thing. I wish everything I write I could just get to completion, but there's just not enough time. So you got to pick the best ones and finish them.
You got to pick something.
Somebody's got to do it.
I love the fact that I got to, you called me in to record on those two cover albums that were done. When they did the Guns N' Roses tribute album and the Motley Crue tribute album. That was.
People really love the Paradise City cover.
Paradise City
I get notes from people and it like on Spotify and everything and wherever. Every streaming service known to man. Like that's out there, and I always I get notes from people that are like, "That's a sick cover. That does it right."
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is before I talk about what you're into with your real life working and stuff like that. I want to touch on what we're doing because that's absolutely so cool. I had this song, and I thought of you instantly. I said, I bet Joe could really do something like this, and I sent it, and you just like knocked it out of the park. And what built from there between, getting David Keith from Rainbow on it, and Billy Holloman on the horn. It's insane. That first one came out like
it came out awesome, and I'll let the cat out of the bag. We got a bunch more tunes that are in the hopper, in various phases of getting done.
Yeah,
it was super exciting. I loved that. I loved that you sent it to me. I loved that that it had a feel and approach that was a little bit different than what I was doing and what I've done.
Yeah.
Like it just had it's the shuffle and swing aspect that was really cool to play with, and you were so flexible. Like you just wanted to make something cool, which was awesome. So like I took it in and I had ideas for words. I had an approach to it, which was number one. I just lyrically positive things.
Yeah.
Just because, like Sly and the Family Stone, like early Sly and the Family Stone, all the music is just like so life-affirming, positive stuff.
Yeah.
I just wanted to write in that vein, and then I got it to that point where I sent you a rough, and then I was like, you know what? It needs the rest of the band. And then I called up Vic Steffens, great friend, and has helped me through my whole career, and has helped probably in one way or another every musician in Connecticut at some point, because he's the best. I called him up, and he introduced me to Bill, recommended him. We went in and did the horns, and then like that.
The horns.
And then that was it. Like that's like you figure out with a band or a project, like there's that moment. It's like that's the sound. That's what it sounds like, and that's what
as soon as I heard the horn parts on it, I said, we're going to have to do more songs with Bill because that just like
Yeah,
that's something I've never done with horns and stuff. Like this is like it's not like they're these are rock tunes with high gain like the thing we started off the show with. That's one of the tracks. Exactly. But we got Billy coming in with all the horns. I mean, it's just.
I did it once before on a tune.
Oh man.
No. Listen. I did it once before. There's a band. Bands did really well out of Connecticut called Spring Heel Jack, and they like ska band.
Oh, okay.
Awesome bunch of guys, and they had come into Joetown to finish one of their records. I forget what label they were on, but they did Warped Tour and stuff. Like they're real like successful band out of Connecticut for a while. They came in and did some stuff in the studio, and I had a tune that wasn't swing like this, but it could use the horns called The Wheel Revisited. And I brought the horn section in and did it, and we did it once or twice live. But that was like the prototype. I had already done a prototype way back, and I knew after doing that how horns and like heavy guitars are a unique blend of frequencies.
Oh yeah.
So I had an idea in my head already, like how that works, because there's not a lot of. I mean, there's some Aerosmith tunes that have some horns, a few things, but not many things where you have really big guitars and the horns.
The last track that we recorded together.
There's Joy, Love, and Laughter.
Joy, Love, and Laughter. The horns that Billy did on that, all the multiple tracking of it is just absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the guy plays every single horn instrument there is.
I mean, he plays them all, he brings them all, and what's amazing about him doing the tracks is, you and I would talk a little about a melody or a theme melody in it, and I would communicate to him kind of what I'm looking for. And then boom, he's amazing. Like just the mind of arrangement to apply an arrangement of all those different facets of horns himself onto the track is just is mind-blowing, because he does it all himself, and at the end it sounds like you hired this massive section of horn players, and he's you
know what's the best thing too
he's a gem.
Is working with people that you don't have to. You really don't need to give your input to. In other words, like the people that I like the fact that, like I'm not like everything you sent me, I loved. And like as soon as I heard what Bill did, I loved it. And what David did on the drums. Right. Even he didn't even tell me he changed up the beat for the verse. He kind of half-timed it a little bit. He says, "Let me know what you think." I said, "Oh, this is great."
People, you want to work with people that have the instinct. And then and this is where the producer part comes in. Like, I don't want to tell someone what to play. I just want to point them in the direction of where I want it to go and then say run.
Yeah.
And the great players, you're one of them. It's like kind of point you in the direction. This is what we're looking for. This is what the song needs, and go. And
we got a bunch more coming out.
I'm psyched.
I know that. Yeah, no, that's great. Now listen, before we run out of time, tell me the companies you repped.
Okay.
And let's talk about your current.
In my day job.
Your real job, yeah, something I've never had.
The day job. Well, you got to pay the bills.
Yeah, I know.
So I've stayed in trying to eat and have a roof over my head and stuff like that. I've done a lot of things in my life.
And stay married.
Stay married, yeah. Do a lot of things in my life. But I really landed in the MI industry, the musical instrument industry, doing everything from sales and product support and things like that when I was earlier on, and then really graduated into product development and brand management.
Right.
So over the years, I worked with Behringer.
Behringer, I remember that.
Yeah, Behringer, and I helped them launch the Bugera brand of amps, which is really successful. Then after that, I was the brand director managing Randall amps.
Yeah, I remember.
And Eden amps, and I also managed Digitech in the USA, all the sales for them for a bunch of years. Then after that, I ended up helping to grow and expand the Supro amp company.
Oh, yeah,
Pictronics pedals. Dave Coltai, a great friend of mine. We really knocked it out.
Those are great amps.
We really knocked it out of the park and put those really into the mainstream. And then after that, I went to where I am now, which is with Solar guitars.
Yeah, now those are amazing guitars.
Yeah, they're
I
really.
mean, I wish you had happened to have one with you because I would have loved to show.
I didn't bring a guitar, but I did bring.
Yeah, tell me about
I
this.
did bring one of the more recent things I've developed with them.
You invented this or developed it.
Yeah, I came up with the concept and basically I'll come up with a concept of what I want for a product, do all the research and everything, then develop the form factor, what it's going to look, what the features are going to be, how I want it to work, and then I work with engineers I'll work with graphic design to do a 2D and a 3D model of it, and then from that point get it to a prototype stage and a sample stage, and then eventually they go for sale. So this is the Tuner Plus from Solar. Solar's pedals are called the Chug series of pedals.
Chug.
Because Ola Englund is a major YouTube influencer and kind of Swedish guitar player extraordinaire in the really heavy stuff. Great guitar player.
Right.
He's the founder of the company. So with him, we work on these products. This is a tuner, but it's a tuner that also has a boost. So you got a tuner it's basically a stage tuner. You got a really big screen because you always want a big bright screen when you're on stage. And a boost function where you have a high pass filter where you can kind of make the boost either a totally clean boost or sound more like a tone tailored overdrive like a Tube Screamer or an SD1 or something like that. And it's got a splitter. So it's kind of a 2-in-1 pedal. There's a lot of guys that the only thing they really need is a tuner and a boost.
Right.
And this kind of does that. It's a sleek form factor. I like making things like out of metal with not a lot of plastic or junky stuff.
That's a great looking piece.
And that's basically what I do as my day job. I develop these things. Also manage a lot of the, executive business type stuff. But the fun stuff is the gear.
Now,
I'm a gearhead.
Now, do you do something with the kids helping? I know you were doing something.
Yeah. Well, my daughter is singing, and my daughter's singing, and she plays with a bunch of kids, and has a little band called Arcade, and they play. They actually came on in this studio and did something here in the town, and the name of the company is Rock House, that has like the lessons and puts the bands together. So. I mean, I don't, basically because my daughter's in it, I'm tech help. I'm tech help for my daughter is what it really is. I'm the tech I always wanted.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And she's doing amazing, and it's just whether it's Rock House or any of the School of Rock or any of these schools that are doing things. It's just awesome to see, a generation of kids have the opportunity to learn and play with other people. I mean, when I was that age, the biggest thing was a bummer for me. It was so hard to find other people to jam with, and there was no music store putting together bands and saying you guys got a rehearsal every Wednesday at 6. Like no one was doing that back then. You try to get in somebody's basement or their garage randomly, and it was always hard to get people together. So I really think that's cool, and I think it's important that kids have the opportunity to play, and it keeps them out of trouble.
I had my keyboard player Gary Fox on the show.
I saw that.
And we were chatting because he went to Wethersfield High as well, and when he was in school, they actually formed a rock band called Equinox, and it was put together in the school. They recorded an album, played shows, and it was like. Why? Where was I? I graduated way too early for anything like that to happen. Why wasn't that around when I was?
I just remember. I remember attics, basements, and garages just trying to find whoever to try to hack through Deep Purple with.
Well, listen, Joe, I got to tell you, man, it's been a real pleasure. I absolutely love you, and I'm looking forward to. Doing a lot more songs with you. We'll get them out.
We're going to finish a record. That's the goal.
Yeah, we got to finish a record, and We'll have to figure out a way to make Billy Hallman work for free. I don't know.
I don't know. Those horn guys, it's
they're
slim
expensive.
chance.
I know, especially with his credentials. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching Beyond the Strings. We'll see you next time. Take care.